Hey, it is Rachel. And in my podcast episode this week, I talked about the concept of listening. And this topic is really important for a couple of reasons. First of all, as human beings, we have a need to feel like others are listening to us. This is not a want. It's not it would be nice to feel like others are listening to us. It's actually wired in our DNA to feel the need to be listened to. And when we aren't listened to, we have all sorts of negative reactions. We have negative behaviors, negative moods. It really affects us. And I would say that as parents, we overestimate the amount that we actually listen to our kids. And I'm not talking about the fact that we're not actually paying attention to what they're saying. That's not actually what I mean. What I mean is we think we're listening when we actually are paying attention, but we're not always really listening. And here's why I say that. When I talk about listening, what I'm really talking about is not just being quiet and being interested in what someone's saying. It's about being open to learning from them, to learning what something is like from their point of view. And I do think that we do this as parents when we're interested in what our kids are saying, or when things are going well and they're saying things that we agree with. So we do probably listen when they're talking about school or they're talking about things that interest them. We listen. When we tend to stop listening is when they say things that we disagree with, or they say things that upset us. We stop learning what things are like from their perspective, and we try to either defend ourselves or convince them that we are right. So for example, let's say your child says, "I don't like what you made for dinner." Instead of stopping and understanding why they're saying that and what it's like from their perspective, we tend to say things like, "Well, I worked hard on this dinner and you're gonna eat it because I'm not a restaurant and I'm not making a new dinner for you." We defend what is going on for us instead of listening to what is going on for them. Realizing perhaps that when they say, "I don't like the dinner you made," what's really happening for them is they feel out of control. We've set something in front of them that they have to eat, they have no choice, and they feel out of control. Now, I am not saying that listening means that you have to change your boundary in any way, shape, or form. What I'm saying is that you can maintain your boundary and still listen to how something affects your child. So another example, let's say you tell your child they can't have something that they really wanted. And they say, "You're mean." What we do is that we say, "I'm not mean. You knew you couldn't get that. You didn't actually think I was going to say yes, did you?" We tell them our perspective instead of listening to theirs. So when they say "you're mean," what they're really saying is what things are like from their world is that they wanted something, they couldn't have it, they're disappointed, they're frustrated, they don't know how to handle those feelings. So they say "you're mean." If we're really listening to them and listening to their words and their behavior and their moods, we can understand what is going on from their perspective and we can maintain our boundary, but respect what is going on for them. So I want to give you an opportunity to actually practice this and get a little bit better. And I suggest you do this by doing what I call yuck dumps. Yuck dumps are when you actually sit with your child, and maybe you can do this once a week, or maybe you even do it every day if you feel like your child has a lot of yuck inside, where you actually ask your child what were the hard things that happened for them, or the things they didn't like about their day, or the bad things about their day. They dump all of the yuck and they tell you what they didn't like about their day. And instead of telling them all the reasons that they're wrong, instead of saying, "Well, I was mean to you because," or "your sister said that to you because," instead of defending everybody else as they tell you what they didn't like about their day, just listen and really understand what it is like from their perspective. You can say things like, "Oh, that makes sense that you would feel that way." You're not agreeing with them. You're just listening to what it's like from their perspective. Or you can say something like, "No wonder you did that." You're just listening and learning from them. Then at the end of this conversation, you could say something like, "Thank you for telling me. I enjoy learning about what things are like from your point of view." And all you're really doing, you're not fixing, you're not telling them why their brother or sister was mean to them or why you told them they couldn't have something. You're really just understanding what things are like for them. So if you want a little bit more information about how to listen and what to do if you try to get your kids to open up and they're simply not opening up, go ahead and listen to the podcast episode. It's at rachel-bailey.com/38. Now, I will wrap this up by saying I understand that it's important for your kids to listen to you too. And I did actually just create a new training that's all about getting your kids to listen to you. And I will put the link to that new training underneath this video below so you can check that out as well. Because ultimately, relationships are about listening back and forth. And as much as you need to listen to them, they need to listen to you too. So I look forward to hearing your thoughts about listening and seeing you again soon. Take care.